Everybody, happy Thursday, everybody. Joe Chacho here. Today's call is not going to be a long call, but today's call is going to have a lot of pertinent information in it. Once you put your thinking caps on, get out a pen and paper, because the stuff I'm going to tell you is stuff you probably already know. Yet when you're in a house with somebody, what happens, your mind tends to kind of float a little bit, which is not an abnormal thing. But when you hear it kind of straightforward again, it's important. You need to know certain things, okay? Number one, when you write somebody a term application, every carrier that we have has a height weight chart for term. Now, agent turned in an application, didn't even look at it, wrote down the client's height and weight, 15 pounds too heavy. Joe, what do I do? Well, you can't write them, or you got to find another carrier that will accept them at that weight. Here's a problem that he created for himself. Now he's got to go back, visit with the client, ask the client, are you sure about your height? You sure about your weight? He's already told the client it's going to cost you this much money for this much coverage. And if the client does not qualify for another term product because his height and weight is not correct, now he's got to talk to him about a whole life. Problem he's got now is that the client's not going to want the whole life, for the mere fact is he's already given him the filet mignon. Now he wants to give him, table scraps. So what happens, you need to be very careful when it comes to that there. All term carriers have height and weight. Jay's in the process of putting that in the back office. All of the whole life carriers we have in the back office have the height weight chart. Remember, Royal Neighbors and Transamerica does not have a height weight chart on their simplified issue whole life. Term carriers have height weight charts. The other whole life carriers who have height weight charts are very lenient. So you can have somebody who may be, like for example, that guy there was 5'10" and weighed 265. For him doing whole life, he's got no problem. Yet when it comes to term, he doesn't qualify. If the agent would have sent it in here, he'd have sent it to the carrier, waited, and he'd have gotten a decline. So I said you got to go back to the drawing board to find out what you got to do. Okay. Underwriting has a lot to do with knowing how to put your client where to put the client at. I was on the phone with an agent yesterday, and she's worked with me now for about 10 years, knows how to underwrite, knows how to get the client. She knows how to throw them in the corner and put the gun and knife to them and tell them to tell the truth. Sometimes clients either forget or they don't remember certain medications they're on. She wrote the client a program that had COPD, put him with a carrier that we have that accepts that. Client was declined. She said, Joe, all he has is COPD. I told her, I said, you need to go back, throw him back in the corner, threaten him some more, and find out exactly what's going on. Usually what happens is a couple things. They don't want to tell you everything that's wrong with them because they've been declined before or they've been rated. Or when you ask questions about their medication, we need to sit and say, if we only got a 2-year look back, let's ask for a 3-year look back, whether you take the medication or not. Has a doctor prescribed you any medication other than the ones you told me? Whether you take them, don't take them, stop taking them, what have you had in the last 3 years? Next step is, do me a favor, bring your medications out here. Because in their mind, they're just doing a blood pressure and a cholesterol. Yet they may forget that they're taking medication for something else. Either they forgot or they don't want to tell you. So tell them, do me a favor, bring the medication out here and let me look at it. You'll be more surprisingly to find out that sometimes that they're telling the truth or sometimes they make a mistake. Then you can put them with a carrier where they're going to go with. You got to carry the agent guide with you. Either it's on your iPad, on your laptop, in paper form. No matter how you want to do it, you need to carry the agent guide with you. Because what happens, that is your cheat sheet, your roadmap to answer the questions. Do they have a child rider? Do they have a grandchild rider? What is the cost? What is the height weight? If you don't have an iPad to look up on the back office that we supply to you guys, you need to have an agent guide with you. When you're in the home of the client, you need to call the home office. You need to have the phone number for the home office. It's in the back office. You need to do a point of sale phone number What time are they open is on the point of sale cheat sheet we have in the back office. What's happening is that I've seen agents who want to start taking shortcuts. They think they're just going to get in this business here and wing it and start calling. Jay, what's phone number for this? Jay, what's phone number for this here? Then they call me and said, Joe, I need the phone number. I said, I'm right in the middle of doing something with an agent. We have it for you in the back office. Joe, I haven't had time to do it. You got to do this, guys. You got to be prepared. Because what ends up happening, business successful people don't make successful choices by luck. Okay? You may be lucky and do something, but accidentally, you need to have yourself organized. You need to know what medication goes where, what height and weight charts go where. You need to review this stuff before you put the client with that carrier. Very easy to tell the client, listen, what I want to do, I want to get you the best program out there. I want to save you some money. Let me do a little checking around. Let me check around to see where I can save you some money. You tell them you want to save them some money. You let them know you're doing the best thing for them. They don't mind you taking a couple extra minutes to look it up, because now you don't get egg on your face when you get a decline on the phone. When you're going over underwriting questions with a client, I'm going to recommend you to hand them an application. If you have a paper application there, if it's a point of sale, you've got worksheets, hand the client a worksheet application to where they can look at it with you. Okay? It's even better to hand them your pen and tell them to answer the questions as you're going down there, because now you're engaging them in the actual application process and they feel they're participating in this here. And hopefully that's going to take them one step closer to where they'll sit and say, yes, Joe, I do want to sign up for the program with you, because they feel they have not just been talked to, they've had the opportunity to participate in the application underwriting process, because they're holding an application, they're looking at it, they got a pen in their hand, they're writing all the answers down. It makes people feel that they're part of the team when they're doing that. Give them something to look at when you're doing it, because believe it or not, it makes them feel that they're in the game with you and they've got skin in it, and I believe it's going to get you one step closer to a yes. Now, the way I look at the underwriting process, remember when we were kids years ago, some of you not too long ago, and you've got a puzzle. And let's say you've got a 100-piece puzzle. We'll do something kind of simple. You open that puzzle up, and what are the first things you do when you open that puzzle up besides say, damn, that's a lot of pieces? You're going to separate the sides, the four corners, the colors, the inside pieces. You're going to get the pictures, the colors, the sides, the corners separated to where now you've got a starting point on where you can start. Most of the time you kind of put the four corners in their area, and you start usually with the sides, or some people like to start with a picture on the inside, copying it from the box. It's the same thing when it comes to underwriting. You got to have some method to your madness on how you're going to interview the person about an application, how you're going to speak with them, how you're going to ask the questions. There's got to be some type of system you have. So if you think about the puzzle, think about bring out a worksheet, tell them what you're going to do, hand it to them. I need to ask you some questions. Go slow. I go 97 miles an hour, yet when I'm in the house, I'm very fortunate. I know the value of speaking fast, and I know the extreme value of me kind of tapping my brakes to slow down, because I know that if I speak too fast, the things I say are going to go over their head. So I kind of slow myself down. I think. I give the client time to answer the health questions. When you ask them a question, don't help them with an answer. There's times where you have to, but just ask the questions, let them answer it. Applications are very simple. If you've had a heart attack in the last 2 years, it's either a yes or a no. Don't call me and say, Joe, the client had a heart attack 25 months ago. How do I answer the question? The answer is no. If the client had a heart attack 25 months ago, they had a stent 25 months ago, you go with a carrier that's asked the question more than 2 years. If you have a client that had a heart attack 13 months ago, you're going to go to the carrier that asks that question there, which is American Eagle and Transamerica Immediate Standard. You're going to go to that carrier, and then from there, pull that carrier out. Then from there, you fine tune it to see if they qualify for that carrier there. When they have cancer says, have you had cancer in the last 3 years? What the application says is, have you been treated for cancer in the last 3 years? Then we got some for 2 years, and we got some for 4 and 5. Okay? The word treated means not when you were diagnosed. It's when you had your last treatment, either radiation, chemo, or you had some type of operation. When did the doctor give you the clean bill of health? You're clean. Done. Boom. Finished. You're a good boy. You're a good girl. If that's been 25 months ago, you can put them with a client that goes with a carrier that goes back within the last 2 years, if not the 3, the 4, the 5. Okay? Remember that there. It does not matter when they are diagnosed. It's the last time they received treatment from the doctor pertaining to that particular cancer situation they had. Topical cancer, something on the skin, is nothing terrible. They want to know internal cancer. They want to know about melanoma cancer. They want to know about like leukemia cancer. They want to know about the sad, the deep, deep stuff that's inside. Okay? That's what they're asking you. Okay? You need to find out if your client is a U.S. citizen. Agent called me yesterday, wrote an application, all excited. Client's not a U.S. citizen. He said, Joe, I answered no to the question. If they're not a U.S. citizen, they're not going to get a term policy. They're not a U.S. citizen. I think we got one carrier that will accept them if they got a green card or they're a legal resident. Okay? I got that in the back office on the cheat sheets. Okay? Those are things you need to ask. You cannot assume that they are or they are not. Okay? If you got a client that's not a legal citizen, they don't have a green card, they have nothing, you're going to go to that little company we have called Protection Plus. No bells, no whistles. You're going to get them something. It's a term product with an actual 2-year return premium. Okay? It's out there for you. So there is a product. Thank you, Jenny. Right now, you got a product out there that is going to allow you to take care of those people there. Joe, the price is too high when they get older. There's nothing you or I can do about that. The carrier set the rules. We got to follow the rules. If the client that you have is here and they don't have a Social Security card, they don't have a green card, they don't have what is necessary, don't call the carrier up and ask them why. Okay? They're going to sit and tell you, well, those are the rules. Okay? Draft dates. Got really nothing to do with underwriting, but it's got to do with getting paid. The first through the third, okay? Then you got the second, third, and fourth Wednesday. Agent called me yesterday and said, Joe, why is it the second, third, and fourth Wednesday? What designates the difference? If the client is born between the 1st and the 10th, that's the second Wednesday. The 11th through the 20th, that's the third Wednesday they receive their check. Or the 21st of the month through the 31st, they'll get their check on the fourth Wednesday. So if your birthday is October 30th, you know when you retire, you're going to be receiving your check on the fourth Wednesday. Joe wanted on the third. Joe, I needed it earlier than that there. Social Security decided they're having too many people aging in on the third. For whatever reason, they felt that was the better way to do it, and that's the way they decided to break it up. When you know that information and you're speaking with a client, you're going to come across that you're a well-versed agent. You have knowledge. It's going to give you some brownie points. So remember that there. 1 through 10, 11 through 20, and 21 through 31, second, third, fourth Wednesday. A lot of agents are saying, Joe, how can I get more money with these applications? Have you ever thought about adding a grandchild rider? Have you thought about adding a child rider, an accidental rider, a standalone accidental plan? I was with some clients about a month ago. They wanted some information on some accidental coverage. I looked at it, compared it back and forth. I gave them a whole life carrier, and then I gave them a Gerber accidental program. In Florida, $50,000 of accidental, male, female, age 18 to 69 is issue dates, okay? Good to age 80, $4.80 a month for $5,000. I'm sorry, for $50,000. So think about that there. Sister companies, blend it together. Don't say it's 50 plus 490. The price is right at $54.90 for $15,000 of protection for the funeral, and you got an extra $50,000 for accidental. When you leave the house, you got a total of $65,000 worth of coverage. Okay? When you ask the questions for the health questions, you need to find out what medications they're on. We've got a lot of new medications for people who have memory issues, Alzheimer's, dementia. They come with medication that I've never heard of before. So what ends up happening when you hear a medication that you've never heard of before, and they say, I don't know what it's for, or I think it's for my blood pressure, you need to be a little bit more intuitive of what's going on and say, well, let me bring out my smartphone and check what it's for. Okay? All the stuff I'm talking to you about today are things that agents call me on because either they've got a decline or they've got it switched from immediate to a graded. Agent said, Joe, medication didn't seem like it was nothing serious. So what happened is that he was declined because a person was taking a medication for Alzheimer's, a brand new medication. So what ends up happening is that you need to take use of your smartphone, your iPad, whatever you carry with you, to check these medications out before you go forward. Joe, I looked it up. I didn't see that in their list of medication. Rural Neighbors got a small list. They don't have everything. But if you see somebody's on some type of COPD medication, and it's not listed with Rural Neighbors, and you see Rural Neighbors puts that COPD client with a graded, just because the medication is not on the list does not mean it's immediate benefits. Use your noggin. COPD is COPD, emphysema is emphysema. Somebody's got medication for hepatitis, it's hepatitis. Just because it's not on a carrier's website, on their formulary, on their drug list, because it's not there does not mean that it's not a valuable item. Common sense. COPD medication, COD medication in your hand that's not there. Common sense says it's the same. I got to put you with a different carrier, give you a graded program. Okay, let's wrap it up. When you're talking with a client about underwriting, try to get them involved in a conversation. Make them feel they're participating in it. It makes it kind of more fun. It's just kind of boring to sit there and listen to questions being asked at you. Say, listen, why don't you go down this list with me? Just mark a yes or no there, so it's going to help me out. Make sure when you have the draft dates, you know the correct draft dates for the client. Height, weight charts, back end. Jay's going to do one for the term. It'll probably be up by next week. Okay? Answer the questions on the application. Just because the answers on the application are answered no, you still need to check out their medication because they go hand in hand. Try to bundle some programs up. A regular filing expense or a term with an actual accidental built in, or another company that you can add them to together. Make sure that they're U.S. citizens. Make sure that everything with them checks out. Okay? Engage in the conversation and think about what you're doing is that you're putting a puzzle together and you've got to go slow and you need to think. Ask the client a question, put the piece of the puzzle together. If they're not sure what it is, take a step back, look up on your iPhone. Okay, guys, that's it. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about door knocking because I've had a lot of clients, a lot of agents call me and complain. They're calling clients up and they're not answering their phone and they feel kind of funny talking to them at the front door. We'll see you tomorrow. Make it a great day. I appreciate your hard work and make your puzzle work for you now and forever. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye. I'm on fire.